You can use what? We are looking at inserting smart graphic. You might use what? A smart art picture layout to show the 4 seasons, and a smart art text graphic to describe the steps for starting a race. So let's quickly look at the steps in how to create what? A smart graphic. How to create what? A smart graphic. Now the steps are on the board or on the screen. You click a slide that has a content placeholder. So you click the insert a smart graphic icon. Already you know what the placeholder is. So inside this placeholder, you see several icons. Within that icons, we have what? An icon there called what? Smart graphic. Oh, sorry, smart art graphic. So you click a diagram category. So we have several category of what? Diagrams. We have category of diagrams. You select the one that suits what? Whatever you want to represent. Then you click on what? OK. Then you apply other options. Good. So let's quickly look at the exercise. Let's look at the practical aspect of smart art. Let's look at the way you can create what? A smart art. So when you have the slide, within the slide, this is the placeholder. You see the placeholder is having what? It's called a placeholder because it can hold what? Text, graphics, etc. So within the placeholder, we have these graphics. We have the graphics over there. So the first one is what? Insert. These are the icons. We have insert icon, insert chart. Then the next one is what? Insert what? Smart art graphic. So let's click on the what? The smart art what? Graphic. The same way, you can also go to what? The insert. Then you select what? Smart art. So you can either go to insert tab, then you select what? Other instructions, illustration, sorry. You select what? Smart art. Or where we have the placeholder, you select what? The smart art by clicking on it. So we have a list of the smart art. So for example, if you want to represent a data and you don't know how to draw, you can use the smart art to do that. So if you want a list, you select the list. Everything about the list, smart art about list will appear. Processes will also appear. Okay. Then, so for example, we have this. You want to enter an equation. So you select it, then you click on what? OK. So it will appear. Now you enter 2 plus 2. Then the answer will be what? 4. Very simple. You click outside. That's how we use the smart art. It's very easy. Let me go over again. So what you do is you go to insert. Let me reduce this a bit. You go to insert. Insert. You click on smart art. Then you choose the kind of art you want to represent. So let's say you want to represent what? A segmented process. So this is a segmented process. So you enter the text, maybe this gold. You move to another cell, green, blue. I'm just giving an example, red, yellow. Then the last one will be orange. Good. So after you finish, you click outside. So you see the representation. So you can add other text over here. So I can say link. This is just an example I'm doing. So in your presentations, you can use the smart art to create diagrams quickly, easily, and neatly. So, sorry. So I can drag this and position it very well on the slide. So that's the smart art. That's the smart art. So for example, you want to do some smart art, or you want to create an art in the form of or in a hierarchical format. So you go to the insert, you select the hierarchy. We have the hierarchy. So with the hierarchy, so in your class, you have the class captain as the boss. So class rep as the boss. Then we have what? Welfare. Then we have what? Let's say the secretary. Okay, so you have the welfare. The secretary is direct to what? The course rep. Reports direct to the course rep. We have what? Who else do you have in the class? We can talk about the members. I'm just citing an example. Then you can talk about, okay, let me say the ladies rep, then, or let me say female rep. I'm just giving an example. Then we have for the male rep. So this is how we create what? A smart art. So I've also created this one neatly and position it on the slide. So you don't need to stress yourself. So with a smart art, you can easily create various arts you want. Okay? You can create various arts you want. So it is very smart, it's very easy. Okay? It's very smart and very easy. That's why it's called smart art. You don't need to stress yourself. The arts are already there, so you have to create them. So that is about smart art. Smart art. Let me go back to the slide. Be putting down your questions. At the end, I'll take questions and answer them. Good. So that's about the smart art. Smart art. Good. Then we are moving on quickly to look at enhancing slides with what? Action. We have a nice topic on the screen. Enhancing slides with what? Action. It means you have a slide. So you want to add certain actions to the what? The slide. So let's quickly look at some of the things we can do. So the first thing is using animation and what? Multimedia. So when we talk about multimedia, we are talking about graphic, text, images, etc. They form what? Multimedia. So the elements of multimedia, you can talk of graphics, you can talk of text, you can talk of pictures, etc. Then we have animation. What is animation? Animation simply represents what? Objects. And the object acts as if they are what? They are real. Okay, they act as if what you are doing is real, but it's simply what? An animation. Good. So we are going to add animations to our slide and see how beautiful it is. Now we have what? What is animation? When we talk about animation, what is animation in PowerPoint? So animation refers to what? Object motion on slide. How the objects move on the slide. So for example, I'm going to move my slide. You see that, you see how the objects moved, the slide moved, how object moves. It's called what? The animation, the motion. Okay, the motion. Okay, so let's move on. So you can apply one or more animation types to one object. An entrance animation brings an object into what? Into the slide. We have an animation called what? Entrance. It brings what? The object into what? The slide. Then we also have an exit animation which takes an object off the slide. And an emphasis animation or does something to what? An object while it is on what? The slide. So these are some types or some examples of what? Animations we have. Then we have what? For the emphasis, we have what? Rotate or spin. So you can spin your text or object. Good. Now let's look at how animations work. How animations work. And we are saying that using the animation pane, we have a column which we call what? The animation what? Pane. Like the way we have the slide pane. We also have what? Animation pane, where you can choose what? Options. So with the animation pane, you can apply animation to objects, one at what? A time, and one after the other. You can run them automatically when the slide advances. You can also trigger them through the previous animation or trigger them manually by clicking. So if you want the animation to trigger, you want it to move, you want it to change, you can do it by doing what? Clicking on the slide for it to do what? For it to move. Good. Now let's continue. You're also saying that you can also run the animation for a particular object by clicking it. You can also set an animation to run after a delay. So you can set an animation and you tell the animation delay appear after 1 hour or before 1 hour. So you can set the delays, which you can also do a configure and what? Adjust. And you can also arrange the sequence order of what? Animations. So you can create your animation. You can tell the objects that this object should appear first before the other 1 second. So you can order them. This, first, second, third. Good. So that's how animation works. Now let's look at the animation pane. So let's explore the animation pane. So on the home tab or on the ribbon, what you have to select is what? Is the animations, because you want to work with what? Animation. So we have animations. Under the animation, we have several animations over here. We have the effects. We can also add animation. You can also do what? Add animation. You can also use what? Show the animation pane. You can also show what? The animation pane. You can also select what? The start, the duration, the delay. That is the timing. So you can also set what? The timing is very important. You can also set what? The timing. Good. Then you can also reorder what? Animations. You can also reorder animations. Good. So in my slide, I'm using a lot of animation. I hope you can see them. It's very beautiful. Now let's look at how to apply an animation. So first, you have what you select an object to animate. Then you click on the animations tab. Then you click on down arrow in the animation group. Then you select what? Animation. Then you apply an entrance animation. If you want to apply entrance, for example, you apply it to place your object where you want it to do what? To end. Good. Then we also have, let's finish with the slide, then we do the practicals as we used to do. Then we also have how to preview an animation. So on the screen, you saw preview. With the preview, it makes you see what you have done. So when you select preview, the animations, the effect that you have applied to the animation will display on the slide, your current slide, for you to see what you have done before you use what you show it to what your audience. Good. So that's the preview, how we preview animation. So we are saying that previewing the animation of a slide enables you to verify that the animation works as expected and is what appropriate for what the slide's content. Simple. So you make sure that the animation that you have applied is what you want to use. It's perfect before you show it to what the larger group. Before you show it to what the larger group. Now we have change animation effects. You can also change the effects of your animation. You can apply the effects. So you can be writing them down. So when you get to the practical, if I don't touch on any of these, you draw my attention and I will do it. So you also look at how to change animation effects. Then we're also going to look at change the animation or trigger. How to trigger the animation. And how do we mean by animation trigger? Or how do we mean by changing the animation trigger? So we are saying that something must trigger an animation to run. Something must push the animation, the object you have animated to run. And you can determine what that trigger is. You get it? You can determine what that trigger is. The trigger can be the appearance of the slide on the screen. It can be you clicking anywhere on the slide. So you can click anywhere on the slide to trigger what? The animation. Or it can be you clicking a particular object on the slide. So that's how we trigger. So in triggering an animation, you either click to trigger, or you do what? You click on a certain object for it to appear on what? On the screen. You're also saying that you can also trigger the animation to run with or after another animation. So you can set it that this animation should run before this animation, or it should just after the first animation, the second one should do what? Should run. So you will do all this. So on your screen, the steps are there. The steps are on the screen. Good. So you also have animation timing. So you can also time your animation. You can time your animation that, okay, this animation should use 3 seconds to display, 5 minutes to display, etc. You can also tell the animation that, okay, after every 10 seconds or after every 1 minute, maybe you are doing a presentation. You can set the timing that after every 10 minutes, it should move towards another picture, another slide, etc. For example, you are talking about a certain house or a certain car, and you have different pictures of what cars. So let's say you are talking about cars. So you can display different categories of what cars. So you can set the timing that maybe after every 3 seconds, different cars should be appearing on what on your screen. So timing is everything. Even if with animation, you can modify the duration of what your animation. The duration. Duration is the amount of time the animation runs from beginning to what the end. You can also change the delay time between what the animations trigger and it starts. Good. So the procedure is on the board. That is how to set what the duration, the delay, etc. It's on the screen. Then how to reorder animations. So you can reorder your animations, that this one should appear first, this one should appear second. Okay, the steps are on the board. So let's quickly move to the practical aspects and practice what I've been talking about. So I'm going to move to a new slide. Then we do the practicals there. A new slide. So I have a test over here, ICT class. So as usual, I'm going to format my test as we did last week. I can change the size. I can change the font. I can change the font what color. Good. Then over here in the class we have Philip. We have Solomon. We have Mary. We have Mustafa. We have Jerry. Good. Let me use this few. So I'm going to apply my animation. So the first thing you have to do is that you have to select the object you want to apply the animation to. So for example, the class. So I go to animations. So you all see animations here. So you click on animations. Then we have, under the animation, we have a lot of animations. You can see them here. So you will select the type of animation that suits your work. And mind you, when you are selecting the animation, it must be a good animation. Okay, it shouldn't be an animation that will bore your audience. No. And your animation must not be too much in the slide. Okay, so use the good ones, the ones that are beautiful, that will beautify what your slide. So for example, I want to use the emphasis. So I want to spin my title. So I've selected this animation. Good. So with the names, I want them to show one after the other in the bullet form. So I'll highlight Philip, go to animation, select fade, go back to Solomon, animation, select flow in, go back to Mary, animation, select shape, then go back to what? Mustafa, then select Tita, then go back to Jerry, then select fly out. Okay, so now I've applied the animation to the text. So now what I have to do is that I have to preview what I've seen. Oh, sorry, what I've done, the animation that I've applied to the text. So you go to what? Preview. And I said earlier that the preview will allow you to see the outcome of what you have done. So you click on preview. So you see, Good. So let me do it on a bigger screen for you to see. So the class, Philip, Solomon, then Mary, Mustafa, Ashik, then Jerry. Good. So that's applying animation to what? A text. Now we have effects. So with the effects, you can also apply the effect to what? Your text. So when you go to animation, we have what? We have the, let me see, the effects. Let me go back to animation, effects. So let me choose the effects. So I want it to spin in a quarter or half or full or two spin, etc. You choose it. That's the effect. So you apply the effect you want. So I want it to spin in a two-way. So have you seen it? So in the slideshow, I'm going to spin. This is a two-way of spinning, etc. So that's the effect. That is about the effect. The same animation, you can add more animation. You can add more animation over here. Then we have the animation pane. So you can click to show the animation pane at the right hand side. You can decide to close it. You can also decide to show it. So if you want it to show, you can display the animation pane. So whatever you are doing, it will appear on what? On the pane, on the animation pane. Good. Then we also have the trigger. So how do you want it to trigger? You want it to trigger when you click. So anytime you click, it will trigger what? Your animation. Then we also have the start time. The start. So when you click, it will start. Or with previous, when the previous animation ends, then to begin. So you will select how you want it to start. Then we have the duration. So over here we have about some 2 seconds, so you can increase it. Then we have the delay. How do you want it to delay? The timing. So anything you want to do here, you do it. Okay, you do it. Then after that, you can go back to animation. You preview what you have done. Then that ends it. Then you can also reorder your animation. So for example, you want this one to appear before the class. So you come to reorder. You go to animation, then you said move earlier. So you select move earlier. Then maybe you want this one to move later. So you go back to animation, then you select move later. So let's practice it. Preview. Let me use the slideshow. So you see that the text, the main text is moving before the title, because I chose the title to move what? Later. Okay. So that's the how we apply animation to what? A text. The same thing applies to what? An object. You can also insert object like a shape. Then you apply an animation to it. So let me make the color red, or I want a visible color that you can all see. Good. So you can select the object, you go toward animation, you apply any type of animation you want for the object. So you want it to spin, you select spin. So let's look at the preview. So let's preview it to see. Hey, object, please spin. So let me try to see the slideshow. Good, good, good. The object didn't spin. Let me select another one. Okay, I've selected another option. So I've selected a glow. So the class has spin. Then let's look at the object. Okay. So that's about the object. So you can apply animation to the object also. So let's quickly move on to look at how we can apply transition. Transition. Applying transition to what? A slide. What is transition? Moving from one slide to the next is called what? A transition. So when you have 10 slides, moving from slide 1 to slide 2 is what? It's a transition. So the transition offers yet another opportunity to add what? Variety of what? Variety to what? Your presentation. Then with the transition, you can vary the way a slide appears, such as fading from one slide to what? The next. You can apply a transition in a normal or slide sorter view to a single, multiple slides, or all the slides. So the steps are on the board, so on the screen. So on the screen, to apply the transition, you have to select what? Instead of animation, you select what? Transition tab. You select what? The transition what? Tab. Then you can also remove what? A transition. When you create an animation, you create a transition. You can remove it. Okay? Maybe you realize you don't need it anymore. You just remove it. Then apply what? Another animation or another transition. Now let's quickly look at how to apply a transition to a slide, being a text or object. So I have a series of slides over here. Series of slides over here. So I'm going to apply a transition to each of what? The slide. So with the slide 1, I select transition. Then I go to what? The kind of transition I want. So exit. Slide 2, I want it to be shape. Slide 3, I want it to be what? Crash. Slide 4, I want it to what? Rip. Slide 5, I want it to do what? Airplane. Good. Now, don't forget, you have effects, you have the duration, etc. You can also add what? Sound to your transition. You can add what? Sound to what? Your transition. You can set the duration. So the duration, so if you want the sound to apply to all the slides, you can take apply all and to apply to all the slides. Then you can set after every slide the timing, okay? So let me do it on a bigger screen for you to see. So slide 1. So that's for slide 1. Slide 2. You see, I've set the timing, so it's just moving by itself, automatic. So this one I've clicked, another slide has appeared. We have another slide. So you see the various transitions. But this one, because I choose apply to all, it has applied only one transition to all. But you can change the transition. You can change it. So when you use the slideshow, it appears. It appears like that. Okay? So that's transition. 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 Okay, that's about transition. So you can set the timing and everything to your transition. Good. So you have end with what? The transition.